The screens in the Thessian command center flashed red. Myrn pressed his thin fingers against the console, his translucent skin showing the blue veins beneath. He could feel his hearts beating too fast. Outside the reinforced windows, the sky burned with orange fire as enemy ships dropped their weapons on the shields protecting the city. "How long until the shields fail?" Myrn asked. His voice was steady, but everyone in the room could smell his fear through his skin. 12 hours, maybe less," replied his military advisor. "The Krell are using new weapons. Our shields cannot hold much longer." Myrn looked at the faces around him. His people were thin and delicate, built for peace and knowledge, not war. The Thessians had never hurt anyone. They studied stars and made beautiful art. They had no enemies. Or so they thought until the Krell swarm came. "Send the distress signal to the Galactic Council," Myrn said. "Emergency priority. Tell them we need help now." The communication officer nodded and began typing. Within seconds, the message was sent across space at faster than light speed. It would reach the Council in hours. Help would come in weeks, but the shields would fail in hours. Myrn sat down and closed his eyes. He was about to watch his entire civilization die. Far away, beyond the borders of known space, the human ship Indomitable cut through the darkness between stars. Captain Dae-sung sat in his command chair drinking coffee from a metal cup. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of the engines and the beeping of computers. Dae-sung was a tall man with gray hair at his temples. His face had many lines, each one a story of hard decisions. He had been in space for 20 years, and before that, he had been a soldier on Earth. He knew what war looked like. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Hana from her station. She was the science officer, young and brilliant, with quick fingers that danced across her screens. "It's a signal. Not from any council species I recognize." "Put it through," Dae-sung said, setting down his coffee. The bridge speakers crackled. Then a voice came through, speaking in a language the computer quickly translated. "This is Velas Prime. We are under attack. Population 4 billion. Shields failing. Please help. Please." "Anyone who can hear this," the signal repeated. Then it cut off. The bridge went silent. Dae-sung stood up. "Hana, where is that signal coming from?" Hana's fingers moved fast. "Coordinates coming up now." Captain, it's 3 days away at maximum jump speed. Outside council borders. What's attacking them?" asked Taemin, the Marine commander. He was a big man with scarred hands and a practical mind. He stood near the weapons console, always ready. "Unknown," Hana said. But based on the signal strength and the fear in that voice, it's bad. Dae-sung walked to the main view screen and stared at the stars. Humans were still new to the galaxy. The Galactic Council had found Earth 5 years ago. They called it a death world and treated humans like dangerous children. Humans were not allowed to make official contact with other species yet. They were supposed to stay quiet and learn, but someone was dying out there. "Yuna," Dae-sung called to his engineer. "Can we make a jump to those coordinates?" Yuna looked up from her station. She was small but fierce, and she knew every pipe and wire in the ship better than her own heartbeat. "We can, Captain, but it'll burn a lot of fuel. We'll need to refuel before we can get back to human space." "Ji-won," Dae-sung turned to his medical officer. "Prepare the medical bay for unknown casualties. We don't know what these aliens look like or what they need." Ji-won nodded. She was calm, always calm, even when everything was chaos. "I'll be ready, Captain." Dae-sung looked around his bridge. These people trusted him. They followed him into dangerous places because they believed he would bring them home. Now he was about to break the biggest rule humanity had been given. "Sir," Hana said quietly, "if we do this, the Council will be angry. We're not supposed to interfere." "I know," Dae-sung said, "but I didn't join the fleet to follow rules while people die." "Did you?" Hana smiled. "No, sir." Taemin cracked his knuckles. "My Marines are ready, Captain." "Say the word." Dae-sung sat back in his chair. "Summon, plot a jump course to those coordinates. Maximum speed. Everyone else prepare for combat. We're going to answer that distress call." "Yes, sir," the bridge crew replied together. The Indomitable's engines roared to life. Deep in the ship, Yuna watched her power readings spike. In the Marine Bay, Taemin gathered his squad and checked their weapons. In medical, Ji-won prepared beds and equipment for aliens she had never seen. And on the bridge, Hana studied what little data they had about the attack. Somin, the pilot, was young with quick reflexes and a wild grin. She loved flying more than anything. "Jump course ready, Captain." All systems green. Take us in, Daesung said, space twisted. Reality bent. The Indomitable vanished from normal space and entered the faster-than-light corridor between stars. They were racing toward a world they had never heard of, to save people they had never met from an enemy they knew nothing about. In his quarters, Daesung looked at a picture on his wall. It showed Earth from space, blue and green and beautiful. Humans came from a world that tried to kill them every day. Predators hunted them. Diseases attacked them. Weather destroyed their homes. Gravity crushed their bones. And they survived. They grew strong. The galaxy thought humans were monsters because they came from a death world. Maybe they were right. But monsters could be heroes too. Daesung picked up his coffee and headed back to the bridge. In 60 hours they would arrive at Velis Prime. He hoped they would not be too late. On Velis Prime, Myrn watched the shield percentage drop. 10 hours left. 9 hours. 8 hours. The council had not responded. No help was coming. He held his child's hand and waited for the end, but far away, cutting through the darkness faster than light itself, the Indomitable was coming. And on that ship were humans, and humans had a rule that was older than civilization itself. When someone calls for help, you answer. The Indomitable dropped out of faster-than-light travel, and immediately, alarm screamed across the bridge. The view screen showed chaos. Velis Prime hung in space like a blue jewel, but it was surrounded by death. Dozens of strange ships circled the planet. They looked like giant insects made of black metal and pulsing flesh. These were the Krell bioships. They fired green energy beams at the planet's shields, which flickered and sparked with each hit. Battle stations, Daesung shouted. Hana, scan those ships. Taemin, get your Marines ready. Yuna, give me everything the engines can handle. The crew moved fast. They had trained for this. On Earth, humans learned to react quickly or die. Hana's fingers flew across her console. Captain, I'm reading. Oh no, those ships are organic. Part machine, part living creature. The energy signatures are unlike anything in our database, and there are 37 of them. How many are we? Someone asked with a wild grin. 1, Daesung said. But we're human. That counts for something. Someone take us in fast. Target the ships closest to the planet. Yes, sir. Someone grabbed her controls and the Indomitable shot forward like a bullet. Down on Velis Prime, Myrn stood in the command center watching the shields fail. 5% remaining. 4%. His people were about to die. Then a junior officer shouted, Sir! A new ship just appeared. Unknown design. It's heading straight for the Krell fleet. Myrn rushed to the screen. He saw a ship smaller than the Krell vessels but moving incredibly fast. Send them a message. Tell them to run. They cannot fight so many alone. The communication officer broadcast on all frequencies. Unknown vessel, this is Velis Prime. Retreat immediately. You cannot win. Save yourselves. On the Indomitable's bridge, Hana received the message. She looked at Daesung. The captain smiled, and it was not a kind smile. It was the smile of a predator about to hunt. Tell them, Daesung said, that humans don't run. The Indomitable opened fire. Human railguns. Weapons that threw metal slugs at incredible speeds tore into the nearest Krell ship. The creature machine screamed and exploded in a ball of green flame. The Krell fleet turned toward this new threat. They expected an easy kill. They were wrong. Salmon flew the Indomitable like it was part of her body. She spun and dove, making the ship dance through space. Krell weapons fired where the ship had been moments before. Human missiles launched, each one finding a target. Shields at 60%, Yuna reported. But I can keep them stable if Soman keeps dodging. I'm just getting started, Soman laughed, pulling the ship into a spiral that would have crushed a Thessian pilot under the gravity force. Daesung watched the battle display. Taemin, pick your target. I'm sending you in. In the Marine Bay, Taemin grinned. Finally, he turned to his squad. 20 Marines in powered armor, carrying weapons designed to fight in Earth's harsh environment. Listen up! We're going to board one of those ships and plant charges. Get in, blow it up, get out, simple. Sir, nothing is ever simple, said Kyung, the weapons specialist. He was loading explosive charges with steady hands. True, Taemin admitted. But we're Marines. We make it look easy. The Indomitable fired a breaching pod. It was a small armored tube carrying the 20 Marines. It shot across space and slammed into a Krell bioship's hull. Metal claws dug in. Drills spun. Then the Marines were inside. The inside of the Krell ship was a nightmare. The walls were made of living tissue that breathed and pulsed. The air was toxic, filled with acid and poison. The temperature was hot enough to cook food. And there were Krell warriors waiting. The Krell were insect-like creatures, each one the size of a large dog with too many legs and snapping jaws. They rushed at the Marines, making clicking sounds. Taemin and his squad opened fire. The humans moved through the toxic environment like it was nothing. Their armor protected them. Their training guided them. And their weapons, designed to kill Earth's mega-predators, tore through Krell flesh easily. "Plant the charges," Taemin ordered. "We have 4 minutes." The Marines split into teams. Kyung ran deep into the ship, planting explosives on what looked like important organs. The Krell attacked from every direction. The Marines fought them back, never stopping, never slowing. On the Indomitable's bridge, Daesung watched his Marines' life signs. All green. He allowed himself to breathe. Then 3 more Krell ships turned toward his vessel. "Evasive," he ordered. Somin pulled the Indomitable into a dive that brought them toward a field of debris. Broken ships and asteroids floated in the darkness. "Captain, I have an idea." "Do it," Daesung said. He trusted his pilot. Somin flew into the debris field. The Krell ships followed, firing. But Somin was faster. She led them deeper into the metal graveyard. Then, at exactly the right moment, she spun the ship and fired all weapons at a large piece of broken station. The station piece exploded and broke into hundreds of chunks. The debris shot toward the following Krell ships like bullets. The aliens tried to dodge, but they were too slow. The metal tore through their organic hulls. 2 ships exploded. One limped away, leaking green fluid. Inside the boarded Krell ship, Taemin's timer hit 0. "Everyone out. Move, move, move." The Marines ran back to their breaching pod. Krell warriors chased them. Kyung was the last one in, firing behind him as the pod door sealed. They launched away from the bioship just as the charges exploded. The Krell vessel burst apart from the inside. Fire and debris scattered across space. The Marines cheered. "Good work," Daesung said over the radio. "Get ready to do it again." They boarded 2 more ships. Each time was harder. The Krell were learning, but humans were better at adapting. They changed their tactics, used the environment, fought smart instead of just fighting hard. On Velis Prime, Myrn watched in disbelief. This single unknown ship was destroying the Krell fleet. The aliens moved like nothing he had ever seen. They were fast and brutal and terrifyingly effective. "What are they?" his military advisor whispered. "I don't know," Myrn said. "But they're saving us." The battle lasted 3 hours. When it was over, 15 Krell ships were destroyed. The rest retreated into faster-than-light speed, running away. The Thessians had never seen the Krell run before. The Indomitable hung in orbit, damaged but intact. Smoke drifted from hull breaches, but the ship was alive, and so was the crew. Daesung stood and straightened his uniform. "Hana, open a channel to the planet." Hana worked her console. "Channel open, sir." "Velis Prime," Daesung said. "This is Captain Daesung of the human vessel Indomitable. We received your distress call." "Are you okay?" Down in the command center, Myrn stared at the screen. A human. The first human any Thessian had ever seen. He looked like a predator. His eyes faced forward, meant for hunting. His frame was thick with muscle. His voice was deep and strong. Myrn was terrified. But his people were alive. We are okay," Myrn said, his voice shaking. "You saved us." "Thank you. What are humans?" Daesung smiled, and this time it was gentle. "We're the ones who answer distress calls. We need to talk. May we come to your planet?" Myrn looked at his advisors. They were all afraid, but they were also alive because of these strange, powerful beings. "Yes," Myrn said. "Please come down." "We owe you our lives." The Indomitable prepared a shuttle, and humans prepared to meet another alien species for the first time. They had no idea that this meeting would change everything. The human shuttle descended through Velis Prime's atmosphere. Inside, Captain Daesung sat with Hana and 4 security personnel led by Kyung. They wore their uniforms but no armor. Daesung wanted to appear peaceful. "Remember," Daesung said to his team, "these people are probably afraid of us. Move slowly, speak softly, let them see we're not monsters." Kyung nodded, though his hand stayed near his weapon. Old habits died hard. The shuttle landed in the capital city's main plaza. When the door opened, Daesung saw hundreds of Thessians watching from a safe distance. They looked fragile, with thin bodies and translucent skin. Some were holding their children. All of them looked scared. Myrn stood at the front with a small group of officials. He was trembling but trying to hide it. Daesung recognized courage when he saw it. This leader was terrified but stood his ground anyway. Daesung walked down the ramp slowly. When he reached Myrn, he stopped a respectful distance away and bowed. It was a gesture of respect from Earth. "Thank you for welcoming us," Daesung said. "I am Captain Daesung. We come in peace." Myrn returned the bow, though his movement was shaky. "I am Mirren, Council Leader of Velis Prime. You saved my people. We are forever in your debt." Hana stepped forward with a small device. "This is a translator. It will help us understand each other better." "May I approach?" Myrn nodded. Hana walked slowly toward him and handed him the device. As she got close, Myrn saw her clearly. She was beautiful in a terrifying way. Her eyes were sharp and focused forward like a hunter. Her movements were precise and controlled. She radiated strength. Myrn took the translator with shaking hands. "You are different from any species I have known. We come from a world called Earth," Hana explained gently. "It's very different from here." "Show me," Myrn said. "Please. I need to understand what saved us." They moved to the Thessian Council building. In a large meeting room, Hana set up a holographic display. She showed them Earth. The blue and green planet appeared in the air, spinning slowly. "This is our home," Hana began. "Earth is what the Galactic Council calls a Class 12 death world." The Thessian advisors gasped. One of them, a scientist named Prill, spoke up. "Class 12? That's impossible. Nothing intelligent can evolve on a Class 12 world. The mortality rate is too high. And yet here we are," Daesung said with a slight smile. Hana continued. "Earth's gravity is 2.3 times stronger than Velis Prime. Our atmosphere has oxygen levels that would be toxic to most species. We have temperature extremes from -40 to +50 degrees. We have violent weather, earthquakes, volcanoes, and thousands of species of predators." She showed them images: a lion hunting, a great white shark breaching, a bear catching fish, a snake striking. The Thessian stared in horror. "Your world is full of monsters," Myrn whispered. "Our world is full of life," Daesung corrected. "And we learned to survive it. Then we learned to thrive. Evolution made us strong because the weak ones died. We developed tools and weapons. We built shelters. We worked together. And eventually, we became the apex predator." Prill was accessing the galactic database on his personal device. His face went pale, even for a Thessian. "Oh no, oh stars, no." "What is it?" Myrn asked. Prill turned his device to show everyone. "I found humanity in the database. They're listed as Origin Species Designation, Apex Persistence Predator. Status, observation only. Warning, high aggression potential. Recommended contact protocol, avoid." The room went silent. The Thessians looked at the humans with new fear. Daesung sighed. "We know what the database says. We know what the council thinks of us. But we didn't come here to hurt you. We came because you needed help." "Your people fought like nothing I have ever seen," Myrn said quietly. "You boarded Krell ships. That's suicide. The Krell environment is toxic and hot. How did you survive?" Gyung spoke for the first time. His voice was calm and practical. "Our world is worse. We train in toxic environments. We work in extreme heat and cold. Our armor is built for Deathworld conditions. The Krell ship was uncomfortable but not impossible." "You say these things like they're normal," Prill said, amazed. "You talk about toxic air and extreme heat like we talk about rain." "Because for us they are normal," Hana said. "That's what we're trying to explain. We're not monsters. We're survivors." Suddenly alarms rang through the building. A Thessian officer ran into the room. "Sir, the Krell are back. They brought more ships." Everyone rushed to the command center. The screen showed space above the planet. 20 Krell bioships had arrived. They were calling for revenge. Daesung tapped his communication device. "Indomitable, this is the captain." "Status?" Yuna's voice came through. "We're ready, sir. But we're still damaged from the first fight. I don't know if we can take 20 ships." Daesung looked at Myrn. "Do you have military forces?" "Yes, but they're defensive only. We have ships with shields and sensors, but weak weapons. We're not warriors." "You don't have to be," Taemin's voice came through the comm. "Captain, let us coordinate with them." "We can teach them," Daesung nodded. "Do it. Myrn, are you willing to let your ships follow our commands?" Myrn looked at his military advisor, who looked terrified. But what choice did they have? "Yes, tell us what to do." What happened next amazed every Thessian. The humans didn't just fight for them. They fought with them. Yuna connected to the Thessian defense grid. She taught their engineers how to modify their shields to repel Krell bioweapons instead of just blocking them. The shields became weapons, shocking any Krell ship that got too close. Taemin coordinated with Thessian ship captains. He taught them basic tactics. Don't fly straight. Use the debris field. Make them chase you into traps. You don't need strong weapons if you're smart. Daesung commanded the combined fleet. The Indomitable took the front, drawing Krell fire. The Thessian ships flanked and harassed, hitting and running like Taemin taught them. On the planet, Jiwan worked in a Thessian hospital. Wounded defenders were arriving. She had never treated Thessian biology before, but she was a combat medic. She adapted. She learned. She saved lives. One wounded soldier, a young Thessian named Velis, grabbed Jiwan's hand. You're from a death world. A world of monsters. But you're here helping us. Why? Jiwan smiled under her medical mask. Because on our world of monsters, we learned that the strong should protect the weak. Otherwise, what's the point of being strong? The battle lasted 6 hours. It was harder than the first fight. But the combined human-Thessian fleet held. They worked together. The Thessians learned fast, and the humans taught them everything they could. When the last Krell ship retreated, the Thessian fleet cheered. They had won. Not alone, but they had won. Back in the council building, Myrn sat down heavily. He was exhausted. Prill sat next to him, still staring at his database screen. I was wrong, Prill said quietly. The database is wrong. Yes, they're apex predators. Yes, they come from a world that should have killed them, but that made them strong, and they use that strength to help others. Myrn looked at Daesung, who stood nearby. Why did you really come? The council told you to stay away from us. You broke their rules. Why? Daesung was quiet for a moment. Then he said, On Earth we have an old saying. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. We heard your call. We could help, so we did. It's that simple. It's not simple at all, Myrn said. You risked everything for strangers. That's what makes us human, Hana said softly. Myrn made a decision then. A decision that would change everything. I'm going to send a message to the Galactic Council. I'm going to tell them what you did. I'm going to tell them they're wrong about you. Daesung smiled. Thank you. But I think they already know we're here. And I think they're going to be very angry. He was right. At that moment in the depths of space, a Galactic Council fleet was jumping toward Velis Prime. And they were coming to deal with the humans who had broken the rules. 5 days after the second battle, the Galactic Council fleet arrived at Velis Prime. 15 massive ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Each one was larger than the Indomitable, covered in polished metal and glowing with power. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Daesung watched them arrive. Yuna, how are our repairs? 80% complete, Yuna replied. But we used most of our ammunition in the fights. If it comes to combat, we won't last long. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Daesung said, though his hand rested on the arm of his chair, ready to give orders. A message came through. A face appeared on the main screen. It was a Valorian, a species that looked like tall, elegant beings with silver skin and 3 eyes. This one wore ornate robes and had an expression of cold anger. Human vessel Indomitable, the Valorian said. I am Council Arbiter Volnus. You have violated galactic law by making contact with a Council-protected species. You will power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded for inspection. Daesung stood up. Arbiter Volnus, we responded to a distress call. The Thessians were under attack. We saved them. You broke quarantine, Volnus said coldly. Humanity is under observation status. You are forbidden from making contact with any species without Council approval. The Thessians should have waited for Council forces to arrive. They would have been dead, Hana said from her station. The Krell were hours away from breaking through their shields. Volnus's 3 eyes narrowed. The Council does not answer to humans. You will surrender your ship and submit to questioning, or we will take you by force. Daesung felt his jaw tighten. Around him, his crew tensed. Down in the Marine Bay, Taemin was already suiting up his soldiers. Yuna's fingers hovered over the weapons console. Before Daesung could respond, another message came through. It was Myrn, broadcasting from the planet. Arbiter Volnus, this is Council Leader Myrn of Velis Prime. I request an official hearing under Galactic Law Section 47, Defense of Innocent Species. The humans saved my people. They have done nothing wrong. Volnus looked annoyed. The humans broke quarantine. That is a clear violation. Then hear my testimony, Mirn said firmly. Let me tell the council what happened. Or are you afraid of what I will say? Other voices joined in. Prill broadcast from the science center. Velis, the young soldier G1 had saved, spoke from his hospital bed. Thessian ship captains who had fought alongside the humans added their voices. All of them demanded a hearing. Volnus was trapped. If he refused, it would look like the council was hiding something. Very well. We will hold a hearing. But the humans will not leave this system until we have judged them. The hearing was held on the council flagship, a massive vessel called the Star of Unity. It was broadcast across council space. Billions of beings from thousands of species watched as the event unfolded. Daesung attended with Hana and a small security team led by Kyung. They walked through halls filled with aliens of every shape and size. All of them stared at the humans with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Some moved away. Others whispered. The hearing room was enormous. Volnus sat at a high desk with other council members. Mirn stood at a podium ready to speak. The human delegation sat to one side, watched by armed guards. Volnus began. This hearing will determine if the humans should face punishment for violating quarantine. Council Leader Mirn, present your testimony. Mirn stepped to the podium. His voice was broadcast across the galaxy. 5 days ago, my world was dying. We sent a distress call to the council. We waited for help. But help did not come in time. He showed footage of the Krell attack. The audience saw the destruction, heard the fear in Thessian voices, watched the shields failing. Then the humans arrived. Mirn continued. 1 ship against 37 Krell vessels. They fought like I have never seen. They boarded enemy ships in environments that should have killed them. They used tactics that seemed impossible. And they won. More footage played. The audience watched the indomitable dodge and fire. They saw Marines moving through toxic Krell ships like it was nothing. They heard Daesung's commands, calm and confident even in chaos. Some council species shifted uncomfortably. This was not how they expected humans to fight. This was not clumsy or savage. This was efficient and terrifying. The humans didn't just fight for us, Mirn said. They taught us to fight alongside them. When the Krell returned, human engineers helped us modify our shields. Human tacticians taught our captain's strategy. Human medical officers saved our wounded. 4 billion Thessians are alive because humans answered our call. Volnus spoke up. This does not change the fact that they violated quarantine. Humanity is classified as a potential threat species. Potential threat? Hana stood up suddenly. Kyung tensed, but Daesung nodded at her to continue. She walked to the podium. Arbiter, permission to speak? Volnus looked annoyed but nodded. Speak, human. Hana pulled up data on the main screen. This is the timeline of events. The Thessians sent their distress call at hour 0. The council received it at hour 3. We received it at hour 6, 3 days away at maximum speed. When did the council fleet leave to help? Volnus said nothing. I'll tell you, Hana continued. According to public records, the council fleet was dispatched at hour 48. 2 full days after receiving the call. The Thessian shields would have failed at hour 12. Do you understand what that means? The hearing room went silent. It means the council decided to let them die, Hana said clearly. You received the call and you waited. Maybe you thought it was too dangerous. Maybe you were filling out paperwork. Maybe you just didn't care enough, but you waited. And when we arrived against your rules, you were angry. Not because we broke quarantine. Because we made you look bad. Volnus stood up, his face angry. How dare you? She dares because she's right, said a new voice. Another council member stood up. It was a centauri, a species known for honesty and logic. I reviewed the response logs. The human is correct. We delayed because of bureaucratic procedures. The Thessians would have been destroyed if the humans had followed our rules. Other council members began talking. The audience watched as the council argued among themselves. Some agreed with Volnus. Others supported the centauri's position. Daesung finally stood and walked to the podium. May I speak? Volnus, looking frustrated, waved his hand. Speak. You call us Deathworlders like it's a curse, Daesung said. His voice was calm but carried weight. You say we're dangerous. You say we're aggressive. You say we should be locked away. Maybe you're right. We do come from a world that tried to kill us every day. We are predators. We are strong. We can be violent, he paused and looked around the room. But we learned something on our death world. We learned that survival means more than just staying alive. It means protecting those who can't protect themselves. It means answering when someone calls for help, even if it's dangerous, even if it's against the rules. Because what good is civilization if we let people die when we could save them? The room was completely silent now. Every being in the galaxy watching the broadcast heard those words. You can punish us if you want, Daesung continued. You can send us back to Earth and tell us to stay there. But ask yourself this. The next time someone sends a distress call, who do you want answering? People who follow rules, or people who save lives? He walked back to his seat. The hearing room exploded in discussion. Some species were nodding. Others looked thoughtful. Even some council members seemed uncertain now. Volnus called for order. This hearing will recess while the council votes on the human status. The vote took 3 hours. During that time, messages flooded council communication systems. Species from across the galaxy sent their opinions. Some supported humanity. Others feared them. But everyone agreed on one thing. The humans had changed everything. When the council reconvened, Volnus looked tired. The council has reached a decision. The humans violated quarantine. This cannot be ignored. However, they also saved 4 billion lives. Therefore, we offer a compromise, Daesung stood. What compromise? Humanity will be granted provisional guardian species status. You will be allowed to operate in council space, but with restrictions. You must report to the council. You must follow our laws. And in exchange, you will serve as rapid response forces for distress calls in dangerous sectors. Daesung looked at his crew. Hana nodded. Taemin shrugged, which meant he was okay with it. Yuna gave a thumbs up. We accept, Daesung said. Marin stepped forward. And Velis Prime formally requests a defense treaty with humanity. We want them as our allies. Volnus looked like he had swallowed something sour, but he nodded. Granted, the hearing ended. As the humans walked back to their shuttle, Kyung spoke quietly to Daesung. Sir, they're still afraid of us. I know, Daesung said. But they know we'll answer the call. That's enough for now. 3 weeks after the hearing, the Indomitable was fully repaired and restocked. The ship sat in orbit around Velis Prime, preparing to depart for frontier patrol duty. On the planet below, something remarkable was happening. In the capital city plaza, Thessians and humans walked together. Prill, the young scientist, was showing Hana his research on stellar formation. Jiwan taught Thessian doctors human medical techniques that could be adapted for their biology. Taemin's Marines trained with Thessian defense forces, teaching them tactics that didn't rely on heavy weapons. Captain Daesung stood in Mern's office, looking out the window at the peaceful scene below. Your people are adapting well, Mern smiled. They were afraid at first. We all were. But fear fades when you get to know someone. Now the children play games with your Marines. Our scientists collaborate with your engineers. We're learning that Deathworlders aren't monsters. They're just people who survived impossible things. And what have you learned? Daesung asked. Mern thought for a moment. I learned that the galaxy is bigger and stranger than we thought. For so long, the Council told us how things should be. Peaceful species are good. Aggressive species are bad. Strong is dangerous. Weak is safe. But you showed us that's not true. Strength can protect. Aggression can defend. And sometimes the people we fear the most are the ones who save us. A communication device beeped. Daesung answered it. Captain here. Sir, this is Minho from Intelligence, said a voice. We're picking up chatter from Council space. The hearing was broadcast everywhere. We're getting reactions from hundreds of species. What kind of reactions? Daesung asked. Mixed. Some species are requesting human protection for their colonies. Others are complaining to the Council about letting Deathworlders into civilized space. But the interesting part is this. 15 other species have come forward claiming they're also from high-classification worlds. They want to join humanity's cause. Daesung raised his eyebrows. We have a cause now? Apparently, yes, sir. They're calling it the Guardian Alliance, species who believe the strong should protect the weak, not rule over them. After ending the call, Daesung turned to Mern. It seems we started something. Good, Mern said firmly. The galaxy needs it. For too long, the Council has been reactive instead of proactive. They follow rules instead of doing what's right. You're changing that. Back on the Indomitable, the crew prepared for departure. In engineering, Yuna ran final diagnostics. Everything was perfect. Her ship was ready for whatever came next. In the medical bay, Jiwon organized supplies. She had learned so much about Thessian biology. Next time they encountered a new species, she would be even more prepared. In the marine bay, Taemin inspected his squad. They had lost no one in the battles. That was a miracle, but he knew their luck wouldn't hold forever. The frontier sectors were dangerous. That's why the Council needed guardians. On the bridge, Hana studied star charts. The Council had assigned them to patrol the outer rim, where distress calls came from colonies far from protection. It was dangerous work, but that was the point. If it was easy, anyone could do it. Salmon sat at her pilot console, fingers dancing across the controls. She was ready to fly. She was always ready. Nari, the communications officer, monitored hundreds of channels. Messages came in constantly now. Some were grateful, some were hateful, but all of them meant the same thing. The galaxy knew about humanity now. For better or worse, humans were part of the bigger picture. Kyung stood near the weapons station, calm and ready. He had cleaned and checked every weapon personally. They were in perfect condition. If trouble came, they would be prepared. Daesung entered the bridge and sat in his command chair. His crew looked at him, waiting. These people had trusted him with their lives. They had followed him into danger. They had changed the course of human history. Status report, Daesung said. All systems green, Yuna reported from engineering. Medical bay ready, Jiwon confirmed. Marines standing by, Taemin added. Navigation plotted for Frontier Sector 7, Hana said. Communication channels clear, Nari reported. Weapons ready, Kyung stated simply. Course laid in, Soman said with a grin. Just say the word, Captain. Before Daesung could give the order, a priority message came through. Nari put it on the main screen. It was a distress call. This is Mining Colony Helios 7. We are under attack by unknown raiders. Our defenses are failing. Request immediate assistance. Please, is anyone there? The bridge went quiet. Daesung looked at the coordinates. Helios 7 was 3 days away at maximum speed. It was in the frontier sectors, far from Council protection, far from safety. Hana pulled up information about the colony. It's a small settlement. Maybe 5,000 people. Mixed species. They mine rare minerals. No military presence. The Council won't get there in time, Taemin said. They never do, Kyung added. Daesung stood up. He walked to the main view screen and stared at the stars. Behind him, his crew waited. Down on the planet, Myrn watched from his office. Across the galaxy, billions of beings wondered what the humans would do. This was the moment. This was the choice that would define what humanity became in the galaxy. They could follow the rules. File the proper reports. Wait for Council approval. Let the proper procedures run their course, or they could be human. Daesung turned to his crew. He saw Yuna, who kept the ship running no matter what. Jiwon, who saved lives in impossible situations. Taemin, who led Marines into toxic nightmares. Hana, who spoke for humanity to the stars. Soman, who flew like gravity, was just a suggestion. Minho, who gathered intelligence from shadows. Nari, who kept them connected to the universe. Kyung, who protected them all with quiet competence. These were his people. These were humans. They're still afraid of us, Captain, Hana said quietly, echoing Kyung's words from weeks ago. Daesung smiled. Let them. As long as they know we answer the call. He turned to Soman. Plot a course for Helios 7, maximum speed. Yes, sir. Soman's fingers flew across her console. All hands battle stations, Daesung announced across the ship. We have a distress call. Someone needs help, and humans don't ignore that. Down on Velis Prime, Myrn watched the Indomitable's engines flare to life. The ship turned toward the distant stars and accelerated. Within moments, it jumped to faster-than-light speed and vanished. Prill stood next to Myrn watching. They're really doing it. They're going to help people they've never met in a place they've never been, against enemies they know nothing about. That's what makes them special, Myrn said. That's what makes them human. Across Council space, in the colonies on the dangerous frontier, on stations far from protection, in settlements that had been forgotten, people watched the news feeds. They saw the broadcast of the human ship racing toward another distress call, and they felt something they hadn't felt in a long time. They felt hope. Because somewhere out in the darkness beyond the safe borders of civilization, humans were patrolling. Humans were watching. Humans were ready. And when the distress calls came, as they always did, humans would answer. In the weeks and months that followed, more human ships joined the Indomitable in the frontier sectors. The Guardian Alliance grew as other species joined the cause. The Council reluctantly accepted that the galaxy was changing. But on quiet nights in the command centers of Council ships, the leadership would look at maps of the frontier. They would see human vessels marked in blue, patrolling the dark spaces where other species feared to go. Some Council members still feared humanity. They worried about what would happen when humans grew stronger, when they had more ships, when they had more influence. But the colonists on the frontier didn't worry. The settlers in dangerous space didn't fear. The people who lived on the edge of civilization slept peacefully, because they knew that if something went wrong, if monsters came in the night, if death approached their homes, someone would come. The Deathworlders would answer, and in the depths of space, the Indomitable flew toward its next mission. Captain Dae Sung sat in his command chair, drinking coffee from his metal cup. Around him, his crew worked with practiced efficiency. Somewhere ahead, someone needed help. Someone was scared. Someone was calling out into the darkness, hoping anyone would hear. "ET to Helio 7? Dae Sung asked. 62 hours, Salmon replied. "Then let's make sure we're ready when we get there," Dae Sung said. "Because we're human, and humans answer the call." The ship flew on through the darkness, carrying hope to those who had given up, carrying strength to those who had none, carrying the message that no one in the galaxy was alone. Not anymore. Not while humans were watching the frontier. Not while Deathworlders stood guard.